Welcome back. I'm Ted Thomas, and in this episode, we're going to talk about how to invest money securely. Now, I've been involved in the real estate business for over 30 years. In the last 30 years, I've specialized in tax liens and tax deeds. So we're going to talk about the security of making money with this type of real estate. Now, everyone wants more security and wants more safety in their life. Everyone wants to do better, and a lot of people don't know how. So this is going to be an eye-opener for many of you. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. This episode is all about how to invest money securely. Fortunately, we have a government in the United States that has created institutions. By that I mean banks, savings and loans, stock markets, things like that work. And money can be invested safely in banks, and even when it's in the bank, it could be further insured to make sure that the money is safe and secure. So if you want the safest investment, probably should just put the money in the bank. However, we're living through times of inflation, so that means the money in the bank is probably depreciating at anywhere from 2 to 5 to 10 or 15%. The insurance, the FDIC, is not going to insure that money. They're just going to make sure the original principal is still there. So there's also insurance companies that provide safety for your money. You could buy annuities where you're going to get a guaranteed rate of return from a large insurance company, or you could just put your money in the bank and Federal Deposit Insurance will guarantee that your principal is there. But what are you going to do about the future? So what we're going to talk about is how to invest your money securely. Now, some investors prefer to buy government bonds. Nothing wrong with the government bonds, although they pay very low interest rates. However, they're very secure. The negative on the government bond is the government might go out and borrow money or print money to pay off the government bond. Now, every time they print money, they basically create more inflation. So in today's episode, I'm answering the question about security and safety. So I'm about to show you some small investments in real estate that will give you generous income. I mean really generous income, and you don't have to take a lot of risks doing this. So it's a good business that you could learn how. Now, is it as safe as money just sitting in the bank? I don't think so. So it requires that you learn a little bit about it, as it does if you're going to put money in an insurance company and learn about annuities. You have to learn a little bit about it. So I could spend the rest of this short time I have for the video and talk about government processes and their policies and so on. But why don't we get right into tax liens, and in this case, tax deed investments, where you can make some money by just attending a few auctions. All right, now these tax defaulted properties are across the United States. Every county in the United States is authorized to sell tax defaulted properties. Now, these are properties that retired people who are concerned about the future could learn how to buy. About 25% of all the properties that are sold at tax defaulted auctions are basically residential lots that people have either walked away from or they haven't made the payments on, and now the local government has confiscated them, basically seized them, and now the local government wants to sell them to collect the back taxes. Now, the government doesn't want any more property. They just want to sell it, and they usually will start the bidding at very close to the back taxes. All right, this is a valuable lesson because if you learned how to buy those properties at pennies on the dollar, you could resell them, and you could be the banker and create installment sales, or you could resell them because they will have value. For example, it's not unusual for a $5,000 value in the lot and the property to sell for $300, $500, or $1,000. So there's quite a bit of margin there that if you resold that property to the next door neighbor or someone down the street, or if it's a bunch of kids that just want to play baseball on the lot, well, you can make a nice profit on that. So older people are worried about money. Why? Because traditionally they've been savers. They've been putting their money in the bank. Now their money in the bank is depreciating. Now inflation affects all of us. Every time there's inflation, what goes up? The car prices go up. The groceries go up. Everything that's involved in your life goes up, except your pension plan probably doesn't go up. So let me give you a couple of examples of inflation. So Back in the 60s, I started an aviation business. And on my way to work, I drove by a big sign. The big sign, Ford Motor Company put a picture of a Ford Mustang. And the Ford Mustang was $2,495. Now, do you suppose that changed a little bit? Or let's say 2021 rolled around, it changed dramatically. Same Mustang, still had the wire wheels, but guess what? It was now $40,000. Got the same four wheels. One was a convertible, one was a hardtop, but they did the same job, used about the same amount of gasoline. The problem is, where does the money come from? Well, if you're retired, you can't earn any more money, you better start figuring this out. So let's use homes and do the same thing. So in 1972, I was buying 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses for a low of $38,000 and a high of $42,000 in Northern California within 45 minutes of the city of San Francisco. I was buying properties for $38,000 to $42,000. Those same properties today, obviously a few years later, I'm a little fatter, I got a lot less hair. Guess what? Those houses now are selling, as you can see on the slide, $400,000, $600,000 and more. Most people have a pension plan if they're retired. Is your pension plan increasing that fast? I don't think so. So here's a possible solution. I'm a solutions guy, so let's give you a possible solution. I'll tell you about Lee Lineberger. Lee Lineberger lives over here in Georgia. And what he does is he goes to the tax defaulted auction. Now, some people don't come in and pay their taxes, so the property is not redeemed and the tax is not paid. So he buys those properties at very low dollars, $300, $500, $1,000. He just pays the back taxes, and they give him a deed to the property. Well, he can do anything he wants with it, but he's a savvy buyer. So where does he buy it? He buys small subdivisions, 4 houses, 6 houses, 10 houses. Maybe they're near a lake, or maybe they'll have a lake access where people could drive to a lake. He'll buy those properties for pennies on the dollar, and then he'll advertise them on Craigslist, and then he'll put them on Facebook Marketplace. He'll put signs on the property. These properties, even though they only sold for under $1,000, they're worth $5,000, $7,000, $10,000. All right, so he can sell them for their true value. So that's exactly what he does. He just does installment sales. Now, what's his interest here? He needs a solution like you need a solution. You want more security, you want more safety with your money. Here's a secure piece of real estate. Can't be moved, can't be taken away from him. He bought it for basically the back taxes at a tax defaulted auction. He understands that America buys installments. Yes, they're willing to make payments. America has trouble making installments on houses. They don't make they give up. Well, same thing happens with these lots. Unfortunately, tax collector got them back, so guess who buys them? Lee buys them, and then he puts them out, and he puts them out for installment sales for as low as $75. He buys residential lots for low prices, all right? He uses an installment sale and sells it for the tax assessed value or the retail price. He doesn't even ask for a down payment. He simply says, give me $75 a month. Well, everybody can come up with $75, and now they own a piece of the rock. And so he'll give them 10-year financing. Well, look at the numbers. $75 a month is $900 a year. And for 10 years, it's $9,000. Well, if he paid $1,000 or $5,000 or $300, he's making a big profit. This is safety and security for his family.
Basically, this is a wooded lot in its natural state. It's a little over an acre. It's a lake access lot. That means about a mile from here is a boat launching ramp where you can go down and put your boat in and go fishing and picnicking and swimming, whatever.
This says you paid $266 and I don't have my glasses on. It looks like about 95 cents. Is that right?
That's correct.
That's what you paid? And what was it? Let me see what it was. What was that?
It's a little subdivision map. And this is the one up in the corner.
And you only paid $260 for that, $266 for that.
Right. It's got paved road.
This is a paved road?
All utilities, yeah. All utilities. It's a lake access lot. That is, it's not a waterfront, but it owns an undivided interest in a waterfront lot.
So somewhere out here there's a lake or something, huh? A nice lake or what?
15,000 acre lake.
What did you sell it for?
I sold it to them and financed it for nothing down for $4,900. which is
No, I
about
don't
the
believe
market.
that. I don't
which
believe
is
that.
about the market price and what the tax assessor says the property's worth for tax purposes.
The tax assessor said this is worth $5,000?
Right.
What is this document?
Well, this is where I've sold it to this couple,
Okay. Let me have a look at
for
it.
$4,900 and
Okay.
spread out over.
Now,
200.
where? Oh, there it is. It says 4,900, and that's what they spent. Now, how much do they have to pay you?
$75 a month
For how long?
for 20 years.
Now, wait a minute. In 3 months' time, you get all your money back?
Yeah.
This is safety and security for his family. What did he do? How to invest money securely. He figured out what we're talking about here. How to buy at tax defaulted auctions. He's buying for pennies. All right, now I could continue on and give you 50 different examples like this, but the point is he's selling on a land contract. That's a simple process. It's nothing more than a contract for the deed of that property. I'm giving you a Georgia example. I could go on and give you Michigan examples. I could give you examples in California. It works everywhere. The value of the property was established by the tax collector, the tax assessor, and of course the lender. And if the lender decides they want to put that property out like Lee did, and they want to sell it for the retail value, which was $5,000, and take monthly payments, in 2 or 3 months, in this case, he had all his money back, and he's got 9 more years of collecting $75 a month. Well, the last time I talked to Lee, he had over 90 properties. So look at the slide. Original investment was 300. He's going to end up with 3,000. I don't know how much you're going to end up with, but you're seeing safety and security. Now, how can I say that? Well, I can say that because if the people don't pay you, you still have the lot. You keep the lot, and you can resell it and do it again. Now, as I say, the last time I talked to Lee, he had over 90 properties that he was paying taxes on. Now, folks, if the tax properties are listed on an auction list that's published every time they have it, or it's listed on the county website, you would find that that list will have 20 or 30% of all the properties on the list will be residential land. I don't know if every one of them is very good, but you could start your own investigation and at least learn how to invest money securely. You could change your whole life. Now, I've already mentioned the 2 biggest mistakes that happen at auctions. When you finish watching that part of the video, I want you to go below me and you'll find a free gift from Ted Thomas.